Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. Now, it's been over 6 months since the official commissioning of the Dangote Refinery here in Lagos. During the commissioning, a lot of Nigerians, especially those in Lagos, had thought a sigh of relief was right the corner. And of course, Nigerians will start buying fuel at not only cheaper rates, but it will also be available. But since then, there has been back and forth issues between Dangote refineries and the NNPCL, the regulator. Now, what exactly are the issues here? Allegations back and forth, first about the stake of the NNPCL in Dangote refineries, and latest is that of inferiority of the crude or the refined product from the Dangote refinery. What exactly is going on? Is it that Nigerians are not seeing or reading behind the lines, between the lines, or there are underlying factors here? Only yesterday, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Heineken Lokobere, also met with the NNPCL and Dangote refinery himself, that is Aliko Dangote, with a view to ending the rift amongst the gentlemen. Is there really a rift? We hope to find out at the end of this conversation. We do have Adeola Yusuf in the studio this morning, his team lead, Platforms Africa. Thank you, Adeola, for being here on the program today.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
Right. I know that this is your forte. And, of course, this sector is one that you do know very well. But let's start from the allegations here by a subsidiary of the NNPCL saying days ago that there's an issue of non-completion of the Dangote refinery. Mr. Ahmed had said that the Dangote refinery at the moment is just about 45% completed, and they do not even have an operating license. And one would have thought, no license? And here we have the Dangote refinery here. Can you clear the air really about what that is all about?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me first of all raise a caveat. It may take even beyond the minutes allocated for this program to finish
this conversation,
so that I don't want to leave people more confused than I met them. So let me quickly raise that caveat. It is an industry that is so, when you are rating industry understood by Nigerians, is at the least the oil and gas industry. But I don't know whether those are the helms of affairs, were so deliberate to make Nigerians
confuse us.
That is, an entire different kettle of fish. Now, the caveat I've raised is that it's an industry that is, with a lot of confusion, and the latest on the table is the allegation and counter-allegation. First of all, let's talk about the Dangote refinery, because before a regulator will be able to come out to talk about it, and a facility is generating so much interest like this, one needs to understand that. I'll try my best a bit for Nigerians to understand. Okay, so it is a facility with investment profile of $20 billion. Okay, so it's been championed by a Nigerian. It is on the Nigerian soil, even though a lot of people have said technically it's on the free trade zone, maybe technically, but it's in Lagos State, Nigeria. Okay, and Dangote is not new to business, it's not new to government relationship. In fact, some people are so surprised that a Dangote could run into a troubled water
Nigeria could happen to a Dangote.
With the Dangote. Because for a long time, Dangote has been having it, that smooth business-wise. Now, when Dangote raised an allegation, because it's actually for those of us that are covering the sector, the first we heard of that came from Dangote. And no one will blame a Dangote, putting in place a $20 billion project, and he sees that, okay, maybe there is an impediment, and he will want to raise, his voice. So Dangote raised his voice, and the way he raised the voice was that Nigeria was flooded by substandard diesel, imported by a lot of marketers, and they didn't import those products all alone. They got a license from NMDPA. NMDPRA. Okay, so NMDPRA now responded even, with a higher of more fierce force.
Below the belt.
Yeah, by saying that, okay, so Dangote is not only from Ahmed.
Right.
Farouk Ahmed.
Farouk Ahmed. That Dangote is not only producing, substandard diesel. His project was 45%, complete. Then his operation is without a license. Okay,
Is that not an indictment?
Okay, so no, I'll get there. Now, for people to have a clearer understanding of this whole, issue, there was a time when that project was, ongoing. I had the privilege of, being on that site.
Okay.
And during question and answer session, I asked Alhaji Aliko Dangote what would make someone to want to invest, because I understand the industry very well. I understand that the profit margin on a refinery is very, very low. So how would someone now want to invest $20 billion on that project? So the answer he gave to me was that part of his driving force, well, remember that, at the twilight, towards the end of former President Olusegun Obasanjo's regime, he sold those assets, the refineries, Nigerian refineries. And Dangote's Blue Star Company, got the license for the Kaduna Refinery and the Port Harcourt Refinery. But when former President, late President Yar'Adua, may God rest his soul, came on board, Nigerians went to meet Yar'Adua and said, okay, to run a refinery, it's not a rocket science. Take this away from this man. We will run this refinery. And they took it away. Remember, Yar'Adua has died so many years ago. So now they took the refinery from him. And he said in his bedroom, he felt somewhat, confused and bad that, okay, so to prove a point, he wants to start a refinery from the scratch. And he started a refinery from the scratch. Some of us were having that feeling that, okay, he will not only start that refinery and run that refinery, he was starting a war that time. Of course, remember that up till this argument that we're talking about, the 4 refineries that were revoked, 2 of them revoked from him, are still at the comatose. Oh, of course, the NNPC, I'm an optimist, and I believe so much in the Nigerian project. I want to believe that, the August, date that they have given that the refineries will start producing. I'm talking of the Port Harcourt refinery, it will come on board. But up to this moment we are talking about, a liter has not come out from that asset. So
and you are still optimistic that August.
It's August.
Today is 23rd.
So August is next week.
Yes.
So, I believe that we need to wait till that time.
But there's also a possibility that there could be a shift.
You remember before now that initially it was July.
And then it was shifted to August.
It was shifted again and again and again. Because of our time, what are the technicalities and the political elements of this whole war between Dangote, NNPCL, Farouk Ahmed, and the federal government of Nigeria?
Okay, thank you so much. They said we shouldn't call it a war, we should call it a rift.
A rift.
So it's a rift, and when it started, I was nursing a very serious, fear in my heart, because if the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, didn't take the initiative yesterday, a lot would have been exposed, and at the end of the day, it's still going to boil down to Nigeria as a country. For instance, no one will want to bring $1 billion to Nigeria as an investment if this continues, you understand? And at the end of the day, if you want to look at it, it's still going to trickle down to Nigerians. That's number one. Number two, allegation, counter-allegation. This is not to say either of the party is correct, you understand? But allegation, counter-allegation, is seriously ruining the reputation of our country. Now, another angle, technicality, if you like, to read is that I observe that, Nigerians, there's a lot of perspective to this matter, but I want to stratify all the perspectives into 3. Number one, there are people that belong to the my person can never do wrong perspective. Okay, so if they are on the side of Aliko Dangote, so help them God, nothing will come from anybody that will be right. If they are on the side of the NMDPRA or NNPC or whatsoever, nothing will come from elsewhere that will be correct. That's number one. Number two, there are people that are benefiting from this fight. This, you know,
The
rift. Sorry, don't. The rift. We should obey that. Okay. So there are people genuinely. I can tell you, even though I may not be able to quote correct figures, there are people that have made millions of naira, if not dollars, from this rift. You understand? So those people will not want it to end. In actual fact, they will want more and more facts, quote unquote, to come out. Okay. So that at the end of the day, business will get damaged and their own will be promoted. So that's number two. Number three are people that believe that what is happening between Dangote and NMDPRA or whatsoever now is a business, you know, rift. They believe that, okay, Dangote is protecting his
personal interest.
NMDPRA or NMPC are protecting their image or interest, quote unquote. So those are the three stratification of opinions concerning this. But I tell you, one thing that I am very, very happy with for now is that the minister took that initiative yesterday night to quickly intervene and did the needful. Okay, so we saw the picture of 5 men. You know, they call them the stakeholders. Even though we couldn't see the president there, because technically, for those of us that are covering the sector, we know that the president is the minister of petroleum, as we are now. So it's only the president that is not there. So if the president is there, so those are the 6 men that, you know, the fate of Nigerians are in their hands. Lastly, concerning that I've just said, I've not been feeling so happy when I hear people Nigerians make comments about that from perspective of, you know, lack of knowledge or insufficient knowledge. At the end of this fight, Nigerians, if this fight continues, Nigerians will lose more. Nigerians, quote Nigerians will, because we are the ones that will buy the product, whether it goes up or down. We are the ones that will kill. We are the ones. So what pains me more is Nigerians now fighting, taking side in what people would, the rift that will be settled once profit margin is settled.
Okay, once profit margin is settled. But another thing that came up, and of course you have also alluded to that here today, is the fact that there was an allegation that bad fuel was imported into the country. And of course, Aliko Dangote did say that, of course, this is in the knowing. I heard an interview yesterday where he mentioned that some people are actually colluding and bringing in this fuel from Malta and bringing the fuel into Nigeria. And of course, it is with you know, license or with certificates from the NNPCL and the NMRDA. But yet, that organization is also saying the Dangote Refinery also is producing bad fuel. So, which means that whether imported or locally made, the issue about bad fuel is a concern. How do we tackle that?
Thank you very much. That's a very, very good question. And it is still going to be intertwined with my earlier response about Nigeria losing at the end of everything. Okay, now, the latest about bad fuel scenario is that the House of Representatives has said that, okay, they are setting up a panel to look into those allegations. That in actual fact, the speaker led members on Saturday to the refinery conducted a test in Dangote laboratory, and at the end of the day said that Dangote gave Dangote diesel from Dangote refinery a pass mark. Okay.
But they're also asking for another test from a private lab.
Yes. In fact, it was at that meeting that Dangote called for an independent investigation. He went ahead to even allege that the NMDPRA should name or should mention their laboratory where they conduct tests. Because I'm aware that Dangote has a laboratory where over 500 people are, working. So, but that is not the core of the matter, because this is not to take side. This is to, lay facts bare and for Nigerians to be aware of happenings. Now, this is not the first time the House of Representatives will be setting up a panel to look into diesel that is bad. Remember in February 2022, engines were knocking. Yes, this one we have not even started recording engine knocks. That time engines, in fact, I have a friend that lost 2 of his cars to that scenario. And a lot of people, there was a Twitter, awareness about people, talking about what
The bad
happened to
fuel.
them. And a pro panel was set up that time. Okay, so
What was the
I'm not
outcome
aware of
that they gave an
I
outcome?
I don't know the outcome. I don't know whether you will,
You covering the sector does not have the outcome.
So it is to say that because I believe so much in this Nigerian project, sincerely, and I want it to work. I want it to work. So I'm saying this so that the best way to walk safely to where you are going and to achieve the work very well is to look back once in a while.
Right.
Once in a while, you should be looking back. So there is a template of one panel set up to look into this. So it will be so handy for the House of Reps that is looking into this dirty fuel now.
Not to go back to that old panel.
No. What I'm saying that it will be okay for them to look at that. Do a SWOT analysis. Look at Then at the end of the day, they should be aware that it shouldn't go that route. We shouldn't have a pro panel. Set up a committee. You sit and say at the end of the day, nobody hears what happened. In fact, maybe I know you will still ask me this question, but before we get there, if you want to have a sincere solution to this issue, there should be a independent laboratory test.
Okay.
There should be an independent laboratory test for the imported Dangote. Independent. Let them now tell Nigerians. In fact, that should be what Nigerians should be demanding now.
And not taking sides.
I'm not taking sides. There's an allegation from Dangote. Some people believe him. There's an allegation from NNDPRA. At the end of the day, who will buy that diesel?
Nigerians.
Okay, Adeola,
Yeah.
from the body language of Dangote, from his expressions, from his statements, the man is absolutely frustrated. And this is someone who said that he actually invested in his country because of his love for Nigeria. His friends advised him to take the money elsewhere. Is this a confirmation that the Nigerian business environment is hostile? And what kind of signal are we sending to local and international investors?
Thank you very much. It is a very good question. And I say very, very good because at the end of every question, everything will still come back to Nigerians. Dangote, as we speak, has employed Nigerians in close to hundreds of thousands in that refinery, directly or indirectly. So if anything happens to that refinery, it will affect Nigerians. Yeah, so that's one. Number two, from the background that I put on the table about how he started that business, is it not something that any time that I hear an official of government saying that Nigerian fuel issue will stop once Dangote starts producing, I usually look back and say, is it not the same man that was forced to do this,
take this
venture? Fact of the matter is that whether front or back, head or tail, everything should be done, everything legitimate should be done to protect that Dangote refinery. In fact, the best way we can protect that Dangote refinery is for NNPC to keep working on his 4 refineries. Let those 4 refineries be in place. Let them be producing. Let Dangote be producing. At the end of the day, Nigerians will benefit. And that should be the call Nigerians should be making instead of taking sides. Yeah.
Also, at some point in time, earlier this month, if I'm correct, Aliko Dangote had also raised issues with the IOCs. I think that's where this actually all started from, where he also said that they were frustrating his efforts and all of that. So if you'd like to briefly tell us the stand of the IOC when it comes to local production of refined products in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that is an area of misconception as well.
Okay.
Because when Dangote mentioned IOCs, IOCs are in different categories. Okay, there is this IOC we know that are in exploration. If you allow me mention name, the Shell, the Chevron, ExxonMobil, Total Energies, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Okay, those ones are IOCs. There are other IOCs that are operating at the trading arm
level
of the value chain.
Okay.
The Transfugar, some of them like that. So those ones too are the IOCs. So I was there when the statement about IOC sabotaging the Dangote was made.
Right. But
So
there was
there
no
was
clarity.
there was not that clarity. Now, I'm sure that to place it on the table of the IOCs that are the first set of IOCs that I mentioned will be somewhat difficult.
Okay.
Because from a barrel of crude produced in Nigeria today, now by any of the IOCs, about 51% of that is owned by NNPC, by Nigerians through NNPC. Okay, now, and I'm aware that oil business, oil transactions are always done ahead. Some done
it's
in 10 years'
projection.
time. It's a projection. So if Dangote Refinery is starting this year, you will not expect a Shell or a Chevron or a ExxonMobil to start giving, you understand?
Immediately.
Now, if the IOC that, that we are talking about now is the NNPC, which has 51%, one thing I'm aware of is that, the forefathers of Nigeria, when they were putting those refineries in place, the 4 refineries, start allocating 445,000 barrels of crude oil to those refineries every day. In their own wisdom, which I believe if we are followed through, things would have been so better. They believe that if those refineries are producing that 445, because 445,000 barrels is the cumulative capacity of those refineries.
Of the 4.
So they believe that crude oil produced in Nigeria, before moving it out, before doing anything, 445,000 of it should be allocated for local refineries. So what that will mean is that if we are producing crude oil and we are refining crude oil in country, the issue of landing costs, the issue of fuel queues, the issue of all those things will not happen to us. Now, once those refineries, the 4 refineries stopped working, the country has engaged in what we called it crude swap for people to understand. But those in power will prefer that we call it direct sale, direct purchase. And what that will mean is that the 445,000 barrels of crude allocated to NNPC, they try to look for traders, refineries abroad, take them there, and
collect
get
in exchange
the refined products in exchange. And that has been ongoing. So if the IOC we are talking now is NNPC, that they want to, Dangote will need to get 445,000. I'm aware that NNPC has gone into a lot of financial obligations with a lot of things. Aside from that, the Port Harcourt refineries, the $1.5 billion Port Harcourt refineries that they are doing the maintenance ongoing now, $1 billion, investment in that was, secured from Afrexim Bank by NNPC. And you know that NNPC will not use money to pay that money. It is the crude that they will use. So there is no crude oil. Aside from all that, you will hear every day of crude theft, of bunkering and all that.
Vandalism.
Nigeria has been finding it very, very difficult to even meet the OPEC quota. The one that countries like Saudi Arabia has even been exceeding over the years. So there is a lot of challenges. So it is somewhat tough to now place it the IOC the Dangote is talking about. But I know that the information available to Dangote, who is, on that hot seat, may not be available to everybody. But bottom line is that if he has made allegation, the allegation should be looked into critically and be treated based on merit. So, and with that, things will be,
Okay, aside from this back and forth, tell us the implication of the plan by Dangote Refinery to start importing from the US, from Brazil, since it cannot get crude locally. What does that portend for an average Nigerian who are going to be buying fuel and, of course, the general market?
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, that shows that, that a lot of figures we have or a lot of information we have about Nigerian production, we are having a contrary view. It's showing that, okay, so crude production from Nigeria is not so much because if someone in Nigeria could not get from Nigeria, so it's showing, a deficit in supply. That's number one. Number two, it is not possible for Dangote to go abroad. I'm talking of, if you want to do comparative analysis now, Dangote go abroad to import crude oil, refine, and, the margin, the production margin will not be the same thing with if he gets it from Nigeria, refined in Nigeria. So at the end of everything, if Dangote want to sell to Nigeria, getting it outside, of course, we should understand, will be more expensive. You understand? But but that doesn't mean that the NNPC should not go ahead, forge ahead, with his plan to put refineries in place. If NNPC is refining, getting local production to refine. Dangote is refining.
It's a competition effort.
And in fact, as they say, the
more the merrier.
The more the merrier, and you know the best way of competition now is collaboration.
Yes.
So at the end of everything, my own interest is Nigerians. If Dangote is producing, getting fuel everywhere, I mean crude everywhere producing, Nigeria is producing, modular refineries are producing, at the end of everything, Nigeria will smile.
Because there will be enough to go around.
Be around.
So before we allow you to go, there's also the issue of the equity, the stake. Initially, NNPCL was to have 20%, but we do understand at the moment they have just 7.5. Is that correct?
Okay. Quoting Mr. Femi Shoneye, the spokesperson for NNPC, that is correct.
Okay.
And he said that they capped the investment at that time as a business decision. Okay. Now, for people to quickly have a very good grasp of this, I was, maybe, let me say, I'm still a part of those that, led to Nigerian investing into that Dangote refinery. Because of, I told you, at the initial stage, I asked Dangote what was the driving force, and he told us this. And when we saw that the refinery is situated in a free trade zone, what that will mean is that if Dangote is producing producing refined products, Nigeria cannot go and meet Dangote and say, please give us, be putting the product into Nigeria. It's in a free trade zone. That place is technically not the Nigerian soil. It's international soil.
Right, so you have to pay, and then you're not even paying in Naira. You cannot,
except Dangote, just like he has said, that he's a Nigerian, he has been doing this because they said Dangote wants to just do that for Nigeria. Right. And one will understand that as a businessman, the first thing he will consider is the profit.
Sure.
Where the profit will come from. So when we started hammering on the fact that, okay, Nigeria cannot lay claim to anything in Dangote, and he's a Nigerian, why don't we just... So that was when they now promised to invest and get 20% equity in Dangote. And we all applauded that. Everybody was happy because even though Nigeria will not be sitting on, even though Nigeria will not be the one sharing a boardroom meeting of Dangote refineries, but because of that 20% equity, the Nigerian representative will sit there.
Right.
And it was a very, very good thing. But when Alhaji Dangote now, revealed that the equity was 7.5%, not 20%, as we all believe, you understand? Because that day I was still on a radio program where I was still quoting 20%, and I felt it was a very, very good thing that he came up to clarify that. Because as a businessman, all Nigerians shouldn't be thinking that, what you have, we have 20% in it. So he has to make that clear. So it's good that he made that clear, and I was very, very happy when NNPC immediately responded to say that, okay, it's true, they capped their investment at that rate based on business decision. It's a business decision. Okay. You understand? Like I said earlier, information available to them may not be available to us. But that wouldn't cause a rift, that wouldn't cause a fight. You have 7.5% in my asset. Yes, I have 7.5% in your asset. I think
it's a fair deal.
It's a fair deal.
Okay, Adeola, a very quick one before you go. Perception is key when you look at everything happening around this Dangote refinery. Excuse me. This report is already in Bloomberg, New York Times. What do you think will be the perception of the international community as regards our business environment in Nigeria?
It's going to be an unfortunate narrative. It is already an unfortunate narrative. It's as if we are playing into the hands of those that don't want to even say good things about us. You understand? And I'm saying this with all sense of humility and responsibility. That was why I said when opening this, my remarks, to say that at the end of this fight or rift, if the minister has not taken that initiative, it will keep destroying Nigeria's Nigeria image, and whether the allegation comes from Dangote, whether it comes from NMDPRA against Dangote or Dangote against, everything will see boils down to Nigeria as a country. And I thank God that everybody has been able to come to the table and settle it. But as they are settling it, I want to just crave the indulgence of all of them. why they will go to that meeting or subsequent meeting with their business interest, which is, you know, allowed, they should not as well forget to put Nigerian interest there. It is with that I believe that their business will continue to thrive, and they will be able to stand before God, you know, and say that, I mean, when it's time to give account of stewardship.
Okay, I mean, that should have been your closing note, and you've fantastic. You've said they must also put Nigeria first at the back of whatever they do. But an aside, you know, the frustration is also has led Dangote to say that, you know what, NNPC, come and buy me out of this. Is that, do you think he just said that to just douse the tension?
Okay, so it may be very difficult for me to know what was running through his mind.
Can NNPC buy him out?
But if I want to treat that statement, I will see that statement as a statement that came from someone that, you know,
was just tired.
Was just tired of that, you understand? And I want to believe that NNPC shouldn't even, and I know they will not even see them, because NNPC has refineries, 4 of them that they are running, 445,000 barrels capacity. Dangote,
they are running or they are not working.
Dangote has been able
Adeola, are they running?
Say the
refineries.
I say NNPC has 4 refineries.
Okay.
They are not working, they are not running.
No, I say NNPC running, not the refineries running. Okay, please take it. All right, so NNPC has 4 refineries.
Okay.
Yes, 445,000 barrels capacity. So Dangote has 650,000 barrels capacity. Okay, so the largest singular unit refinery in the world, you know, by a Nigerian. So what I'm saying in essence is that if NNPC is having 445,000 barrels, that should be enough. Let NNPC run that. Dangote should go ahead and run his business, you know, successfully. We wish him well. We wish NNPC well. We wish everybody well. And above everything, we wish Nigerians well. And I want Nigerians to, you know, sharply understand that this that is happening will be settled. And when it's being settled, those that are fighting over it will not be called to that meeting. Sure.
Okay. All right, Adeola Yusuf, Team Lead Platforms Africa, thank you so much for finding time to be here on the program today. It's been quite an exciting one. Thank you again for being here. All right, we do hope that when the big men finish fighting and they settle all of the rift, it will be for, you know, the good of you and I. I'm sure nobody wants to buy fuel above the price we're buying at the moment. Everybody looks forward to buying fuel at cheaper rates, and we do hope in years to come this will be achievable. Thank you so much for watching this side of the conversation. We'll take a quick break. When we return, the Lagos ladies will take it from us.